If you're a paper crafter still on the hunt for a great tool to make inking really easy, this video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and recently Catherine Pooler Designs and Picket Studios collaborated to make a fun Instagram hop where we used the Catherine Pooler inks and the Picket Studios Paper Pouncers. So today I'm going to share how I made those cards, what I think of the Paper Pouncers, and I have a giveaway for you, so stick around until the end. To start out, let's take a look at those Paper Pouncers. Let's start out by looking at the 9-pack of Paper Pouncers. They come in a rainbow of colors. There's a 3-pack of white and a 3-pack of neutral as well. When you open up the Paper Pouncers, you can see the tool is completely closed into a top and a bottom cap. The Paper Pouncer itself is a nice round foam that makes it really easy to pounce ink onto paper. So it does exactly what the name says it does, and I love that it comes in the little case to keep your work surface protected. Now let's use some Catherine Pooler Designs products and the Paper Pouncers to create a few different cards. For this first card, I'm using the Catherine Pooler Eternal Flame panel die to cut out a piece of A2 white cardstock. If you already have your A2 cardstock cut, just make sure to place it inside the cut lines of the die, and then you'll get a perfectly die cut Eternal Flame as well as the A2 rectangle around it. For these first Paper Pouncers, I'm using the pink Paper Pouncer with cotton candy ink, and you can see that my die cut is held in place on my waffle flower grip mat, and then I am just pouncing the Paper Pouncer onto the ink to pick it up and then pouncing it onto the card. This is a way to get a really nice light touch, which is something that I struggle with all the time. Most of you know this already. Check out that light blend between the cotton candy and the cummerbund. Now for the background of the Eternal Flame die cut, I am pouncing silver, the new silver metallic ink from Catherine Pooler Designs onto this background. I know that it's sold out. They're getting them back in. Don't worry, sign up for notifications and you'll be sure to get them. So look at this shiny pounced background of silver that's going to make the perfect shimmery background for my Eternal Flame die cut. I will pour some clear embossing powder on top of the silver metallic cardstock. Since it is pigment ink, it can take a long time to dry, so I do like to set it with the clear embossing powder. If you have a fixative spray, you can use that as well. I don't have any, so I just use clear embossing powder all the time and then carefully heat set it. I'm using My Sweet Petunia's precision glue press to add little bits of liquid glue all on the back of that panel, that die cut panel, and then placing it onto this silver background that I created. And this is what has that really just luminous effect to create that background. Now, for the sentiment and the images, I'm using the Warm and Bright stamp set, and the great thing about the stamp set is it has several lanterns and other little bits of Christmas like holly and candles and flames, but it also has dies to cut out the sentiments. So I'm going to cut all of these little bits out and then I can place them on the card. I'm popping up the sentiment. That's why I love having dies that cut out sentiments, so you can pop them up. And I popped up the lantern as well. I have the hook kind of hanging from the bottom of the sentiment, which I think is fun. I have a candle, a flame, a little holly leaf, and then I'm using some of the Lapland sequins on the little circles of the flowers of the Eternal Flame background to add a little bit of extra sparkly fun. For the next card, I'm starting with the Catherine Pooler Star Stencil. I have it placed over an A2 piece of white cardstock, and I have both of those on the grip mat to hold them in place. This time I'm using the 8x8 grip mat because the stencil is 6x6. And I'm pouncing a variety of both gold metallic and champagne metallic inks. I love the way that I was able to get that kind of blend between them a little bit, and then also just have both colors represented on this stencil using those Paper Pouncers, so that instead of just covering the whole thing with one color, I was able to multicolor stencil. Then I poured clear embossing powder on top, and then I heat set those stars to make sure they wouldn't smear at all. For the background, I'm using the gold metallic ink and I'm just smearing the edges with ink. So you can see you have to definitely keep smearing and be gentle so that you don't create lines in the ink because it is a pigment ink, so it's real thick, and then go over it just to make sure everything is nice and covered up. And once that's done, I pour some embossing powder on top, clear embossing powder, fine clear embossing powder on top, and then heat set that, check that out. It just ends up looking like a gorgeous, like luscious gold background. I absolutely love this color. I think it is super stunning. It's different than just a gold metallic cardstock, so it definitely gives a slightly different look. I cut the star panel down to 4 by 5 1/4, and this way I can adhere it down to that gold background. Now I'll use the Warm and Bright stamp set once again with the sentiment, with a different lamp this time, and several different Christmas elements to decorate. Again, love having the dies. Now I've cut out the lamp and I'm just drawing some pencil lines just behind it so that I know exactly where this lamp is going to end up going on the card. Then I'll take the yellow paper pouncer and some Catherine Pooler ink and just pounce that right inside that line that I drew and just slightly outside it. I want this to look like a glowing lamp, so the inside will be nice and bright, and then the outside is a slightly lighter blend of the ink, and you can see that it looks like the light is glowing outside the lamp. I'll also add that sentiment and then decorate the lamppost with a couple of leaves and a pine cone, and I love adding one little leaf behind the sentiment as well to move the eye around the card. This time I have my 6x6 waffle flower grip mat on my glass mat, and I've die cut out 4 different tags from the No Shaking Tags die set from Catherine Pooler. And so each tag I will use a different color and so a different paper pouncer. This time I'm using grass skirt, and I really want it to get that deeper green, so I'm going over it several times, and that's how you can build up color with the paper pouncer. The first layer will be nice and light, and that's great for people who have heavy hands with ink to keep a nice light blend. The second and third layers will really bring up the color. My cotton candy, if any of you saw my Christmas series video on the Catherine Pooler Designs YouTube channel, you know my Catherine Pooler Designs cotton candy ink was really needing a refill there, so I just refilled it real quick before I paper pounced this particular tag. And I love the variety of colors that you can get with these inks, die cuts, and paper pouncers. So you can see how easy this one is. The Rockin' Red, I just used a couple of pounces here and there to even out the color, but I got a nice opaque covering very quickly. I'm also adding a little silver to the ribbon on the gift tag and to the ornament topper on the ornament tag. I'll add a little bit of gold around the Christmas tree just for some glow and decoration, and then I will add some champagne. I love these metallic inks. I'm using them all the time. To the bottom of this tag, it'll be like a dipped tag. For the sentiments, I'm using the Seasonal Mix Sentiment Stamp Set, and this time I'm actually using white embossing powder on the sentiment. I'll use a little clear embossing powder on the ornament cap to make sure I don't smear that any more than I already did. And for this tag, the dip tag, I have Happy Holidays from that same stamp set stamped in black. This time on the gift tag, I've stamped Happy Hanukkah with silver ink, and for the Christmas tree, I've stamped Merry Christmas, and I'll white heat emboss that as well. So here's everything embossed and dried, all those tags. They look so cute, and there's just a bunch of different ways that I like to do knots on the tops of tags. So sometimes I like to double them up. Sometimes I like to have a single loop that they hang from, and then you can hang it from the ribbon on the present. Here I have a triple layer of twine. I just like to go crazy. I like the texture that those extra dimensions, extra layers of twine add to them, and I love the little ends sticking out on the side. For this card, I'm using the Joy to the World ornament tag as the centerpiece, but I am also using the Scallops and Dots die set to cut out some pattern paper from the Holiday Delights pattern paper pad. Again, here I have a looped over piece of twine, and I'll put that through the tag hole. And then at the top, that means I have two pieces of twine on each side. I'll tie a knot, and that will mean that one side will have a loop and the other side will have the two tails. And that's what I meant by having extras in there. I just love the way that extra twine looks on the top of this card. So here's a quick look at all the tags and the tag card. All of the images will be on my blog if you want to look at them closer. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. For this giveaway, I have an extra Warm and Bright Catherine Pooler Design stamp set and die set that they are generously allowing me to give away to one of you. So if you have a US address, please fill out the Google form underneath this video in the YouTube description box. Please remember, I won't be using the comments to notify the winner. All the information about the giveaway will also be in the YouTube description box. Please look at that carefully before you start replying to anybody else but me. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Am I like in the shadows? It looks really kind of dark. Is that better? Oh, well, too late. Okay.